You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. And be sure to smash that like button. The thing about this game that undeniably shifts the leverage toward LSU is where it falls on the calendar. This is not even debatable. The 28th battle for the Golden Boot. They've been playing this game at the end in November since Arkansas came into the league. And since Arkansas came into the league, LSU has resented this game. Hated the fact that it was on Friday after Thanksgiving at 1:30 in the afternoon. And LSU complained for so many years. A&M comes into the league and they go, fine, we'll give you A&M on Thanksgiving weekend. Arkansas and Missouri, you're playing at 1:30 on Fridays now. And Arkansas melted over it because how could you give us this fake trophy, fake name battle line game with a team that's just coming in? And every LSU fan's going, cry me a river, loser. We were here for 70 years before you showed up, and we got saddled with your ass. You get to take the new kid for a turn. Go show the new kid around campus. But they moved the game to the week after Alabama. Didn't do LSU a damn favor. Because no matter what LSU or Arkansas was in a given year is irrelevant because LSU always is going to be at its highest for Alabama. And that's just a fact. Like every team in a given year has the game on their calendar that they're going to circle and they're going to elevate their play. It's just true. LSU is going to be higher for Bama than when they go to Missouri. That's just how it goes. You hope you play well enough at Missouri to where it doesn't clip you. But when you get sky high for Bama, the next week you're going to have a come down. And it was always Arkansas sitting there waiting. Well, after they moved it off the silly Friday after Thanksgiving game. So either way, when this game was in November, the emotion of the game, the effort always benefited Arkansas. Always. Now, it's September. It's the fourth week of the season. You got fresh legs. You're learning your team. Everybody's still playing for everything. There is nothing emotional about this game that should weigh down LSU. You're coming off a game where you pimp-slapped Mississippi State for 3 hours. Next week you go to Ole Miss, not really a look-ahead spot. This team can't really afford to look ahead. It's just, here comes Arkansas. Oh, the big heavy boot thing. I just leave it, put it on the table over there. Just make sure nobody knocks it over. That's the opinion. Like this should be there is no excuse this weekend. This should be a total focus, locked-in game for LSU. There is no excuse about where it falls on the schedule or who's sky high or who's not ready to play. This should be one of those, go out there, play your best game, just like build upon what you did against Mississippi State, get another win, and then on to the next. Because for LSU, every week over the next 6 are on to the next, on to the next, on to the next, until you get to Tuscaloosa. And that's when you should be 7-1 going into that game and having everything laid out right in front of you. But you got to take care of business, and there's no excuse with Arkansas this week. Now, a couple of things. Both Brian Kelly and Sam Pittman were on the SEC Coaches Teleconference. The biggest difference this year from last year, of course, is KJ Jefferson. KJ Jefferson is a great college quarterback. I don't think he's going to project as a great professional quarterback, but he is a great college quarterback. And LSU didn't see him last year. Malik Hornsby filled in for an injured KJ Jefferson. Here was Brian Kelly on the Arkansas quarterback.
Just his presence, as a quarterback, the size that he brings to the position. He breaks so many tackles, keeps plays alive. It forces, from a defensive perspective to stay in coverage. And then when he gets out, it's getting him on the ground. So, he brings a huge dimension to what goes on, from a defensive structure standpoint. You have to be so sound fundamentally. And then, he breaks down the play and all kinds of things can happen after that. So it'll be a great challenge that we have this Saturday with him.
So Jefferson, at this point in the season, look, he's played a lot of football. KJ Jefferson was a freshman back in 2019, LSU's championship season. So this is his fifth season in college. He made the decision to come back like Jaden Daniels did for a fifth collegiate season, taking advantage of the extra COVID year. But this is his third year as a full-time starter there at Arkansas. The last 2 years, he's thrown for 2,600 yards, and he is a really good runner as well. That's the dimension of KJ Jefferson's game that differentiates him, because he's a 6'3", 250-pound battering ram. It's a lot like Tim Tebow in that respect, a guy that can throw the ball but also can line up and fall forward and get you 3, 5, 7 yards and keep drives alive if you don't bottle them up. It's going to be a huge impetus for the LSU defensive line to have a really good day, a sound day against the Arkansas offensive front, which is not good this year, by the way. Arkansas, their tackle positions have been turnstiles. It has not been good on that offensive line. That is a major talking point in Fayetteville right now, is the struggles that offensive line has had. And now here comes this LSU defensive front, which looks deep and talented and strong and physical and athletic. And that should be a real challenge for Arkansas to run the ball. And we'll see if Rocket Sanders is even available, which means it could come down to KJ throwing the ball against the LSU secondary. For LSU, though, the real challenge is what I opened with. There was no excuse emotionally in this ball game because of where the game falls. You know, a year ago, you have this gigantic emotional overtime win against Alabama, and then you got to go on the road, and there's snow flurries and ice on the ground in Fayetteville. You expected LSU to be sky high for that one? Now, they got lucky because KJ didn't play. And so the game plan changed a ton because you didn't have to go out there and really force the issue because you knew they weren't moving the football, and they didn't by and large. But this is different. So Brian Kelly was asked, about, the phrase he used last week was competitive edge. You want to see competitive edge. Well, how do you do that again?
This is college football, and keeping young men at that competitive edge week in and week out is the biggest challenge that we face now. There are so many distractions, so many things that can get you away from where you need to be focused, and that will be the challenge for this football team, is to play with the same kind of competitive edge that they played with last week.
And the challenge for Arkansas, or the concern with Arkansas, is catching them coming off the BYU loss. Are they zeroed in, focused, and ready to play their best game and what they do deem as a rivalry game? I expect Arkansas to be up. LSU just can't be down. LSU just needs to be it, which is why it's an 18-point favorite right now. But Arkansas outgained BYU last week. If you look at the yardstick, it was kind of stunning. Arkansas put up 424 yards of total offense, BYU 281. Arkansas outgained BYU by 150 yards. Arkansas had a couple of turnovers. Penalties really cost them in that ball game. It's kind of amazing to watch how undisciplined this Arkansas team has been. They had 14 penalties. Let me say this again. Arkansas had 14 penalties for 125 yards against BYU. Penalties, turnovers killed them in a game where they twice led by double digits at home and lost to Keaton Slovis, the journeyman quarterback, and BYU. So for LSU, you got to feel like you're going to get a motivated Arkansas team, and Brian Kelly on the teleconference acknowledged as much.
We're going to get Arkansas's best. Certainly, I just say, hey, put yourself in Arkansas's shoe. If we didn't play well against Mississippi State, you can imagine the paint would be peeling off the walls in this building, and our expectations would be, through practice and how we prepare, and we would be coming out, ready to play, and that's going to be the case with Arkansas. So we're going to get their very best, and we're going to have to match and exceed that.
I'm going to say it one more time. And when you're Arkansas, well, I might say more than one time, look at what's ahead for this team. We knew how they had to start three. Arkansas had to start 3-0 because of what was coming, and they didn't do it. They beat Western Carolina. They eked past Kent State 28-6, and then they lost to BYU. Now, at LSU, Jerry World against A&M, at Ole Miss, at Alabama. Arkansas their next four are away from home. So you lose to BYU, your next four are away from home, and you could lose all four of them. Like, this season for Arkansas could be over before you even get to November, before you get to the middle of October. So they got a heavy climb, a steep climb, a heavy load to haul, does Arkansas. And this is not an easy task this weekend, but if you're LSU, you better believe you're going to get their best swing on Saturday at Tiger Stadium. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.